Welcome back to the channel. It took over 50 years, but finally, General Yakubu Gowon broke his silence. He sat before the cameras in 2025 and spoke about the Biafra War. He spoke with a calm face, but behind his word was a storm. I do not regret the war. It was for Nigerians and unity. That is what he said. But here is the real question. Which unity? Which peace? Which freedom? Because while Gowon speak in comfort, entire communities in Nigeria are living in fear. Not of bombs this time, but of silence, attack, and slow takeover. From Benue to Enugu, from Plateau to Anambra, people are asking, what is really going on in this country? If you think the war ended in 1970, you are wrong. You are very, very wrong. Stay with us till the end, because what you are about to hear may explain why Nigeria is bleeding today. Gowon speaks old wounds open. In June 2025, General Yakubu Gowon gave a public interview. He said calmly, "I do not regret fighting the war against Biafra. It was done out of love and unity." But for millions of Igbos and others in the East, this statement felt like salt on old wounds. They remember the bombs, they remember the hunger, they remember the silence of the world as children's staff. And now Gowon said it was done out of love. Can you imagine? It was done out of love. Many were shocked, some were angry, others were simply speechless. Yes, the war that never really ended. The truth is, the Biafra War never really ended. Yes, the guns went quiet in 1970, but something else began. Economic punishment, political exclusion, cultural isolation, silent control of land and lives. And while the East tried to rebuild from ashes, a new power began to grow silently. Imagine, a power that today is no longer hiding, it is moving. The Fulani agenda. This is not about ethnicity. It is about truth, control, and survival. The Aburi Accord, the broken peace. Before the war, there was hope. Yes, there was hope. In January 1967, Gowon and Biafra leader Ojukwu met in Aburi, Ghana. They agreed on peace. The deal was simple. Each region will control its resources. Nigeria will be restructured into a confederation, no more domination. But when Gowon returned to Nigeria, the deal was rejected. And just like that, the hope died. The war began. And so did the trust deficit that still exists today. The 20 pounds punishment. After the war, Gowon declared no victor, no vanquish. But action spoke louder. Millions of Biafrans returned to find their bank account frozen. No matter how much they had, the Nigerian government gave them just 20 pounds. Imagine fighting for survival, losing family, losing home, then being told, take 20 pounds, start over. That is not unity. That is quiet punishment. The silence war of today. Now, fast forward to 2025. The bombs may have stopped, but people are dying in their sleep. Villages are being invaded. Farmers can't farm. Children are kidnapped. And who are the accused? Heavily armed men, moving as S-men, often called bandits, but many locals call them something else, terrorists. The fear is free, but the silence from the top is louder. Benue bleeds, Southeast cries. In Benue, the land of farmers, hundreds have been killed. In Enugu, priests have been kidnapped. In Ebonyi, entire village have disappeared overnight. And still, the federal government keeps calling them clashes, not attacks. But is it really a clash when one side has AK-47s and the other is holding O's? Why Gowon wars matter today? You may ask, why focus on what Gowon said? Because history repeats itself. When people forget, when the man who led Nigeria into war said he has no regrets, he sent a signal to those watching. You can do it again and walk free. That is why words are powerful and silence even more deadly. The 3Rs, a failed promise. After the war, Gowon announced the 3Rs: reconciliation, rehabilitation, reconstruction. But what really happened? No justice, no rebuilding, no healing. Instead, Igbo business were sidelined. Eastern Road were neglected. The region that gave Nigeria oil got poverty in return. The rise of Ruga, grazing bills. Today, the federal government pushed policies like Ruga settlements, grazing reserve bills, nomadic education funding, all aimed at creating special space for Fulani herders across all states, even in places where their culture doesn't exist. But when locals resist, they call tribalism, or worse, troublemakers. So now, many ask, is this about cows or is it about territory? Who really controls the military? Look closely at the top. Look closely at the top. People who did at the top. Army, police, DSS, civil defense. Majority of the command head come from one part of the country. Is it by coincidence or is it by a strategy pattern? Gowon once lead a military-heavy government, and now Nigeria seems to be under silence. Militarization. Again. Militarization. Again. This time, not to fight a war, but to protect an agenda. If you are still watching, it means this message masters to you. Please like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Share it to others who care about the truth. Subscribe, because we won't stop until justice speaks. Hashtag justice for Biafra. From unity to control. They call it one Nigeria. One Nigeria. But one side owns the oil. One side owns the land. One side rules the army. And one side sleeps with fear. If that is unity, then what is oppression? What is oppression? The silence media. Many major news stations don't show these stories. You won't hear the full truth on TV, but locals are filming. Activities are crying out online. And that's why social media is now the battleground. Truth is being hunted, but it is still alive. International hypocrisy. During the Biafra War, Britain supplied weapons to Gowon. They said it was about keeping Nigeria together. But today, these same Western powers are silent as thousands die from unknown gunmen. Why? Because oil still flows and silence keep the business going. The land grab theory. In many parts of Nigeria, especially in the north, central and east, locals say armed herdsmen attack and never leave. They occupy the land, they settle, and over time they claim ownership. This is not a theory. It is happening community by community. Community by community. Yes, it is happening till today when history is written by power. Today, Gowon speaks his version. He has the camera, the agbada, the spotlight. But millions of dead Biafra cannot speak. Their graves are the page not read. That is why we must speak. For the dead, for the living, and for the unborn. The role of the politics and power. Some politicians speak up, but they are shouted down. Others keep quiet because they fear they will lose favors. But one day, silence will no longer protect them. The land remembers, the people remember, and truth always return. Truth always return. The Igbo question still unanswered. Till today, no Igbo has become president. No Igbo has become president since the Civil War ended. Yes. Why? Are they not Nigerians too? Is it still punishment for 1967? These are the questions that Gowon's interview raises. Even without him saying them, peace without justice is a lie. A big lie. You can have silence, you can have calm, but without justice, peace is fake. Fake. True peace means owning your own land, living without fear, being treated equally, telling the full truth. If you forget, you lose. They say, forget the war, move on, move on. But if we forget why our fathers died. We forget why our mothers cried. We forget what made Nigeria bleed. And if we forget, it may all happen again. The fight for tomorrow. Gowon has spoken. Now, it is time for us to speak. Not with guns, not with hate, but with truth, justice, and unity based on equality. We want a Nigeria where no tribe is feared, no region is neglected, and no history is hiding. Because the fight is not just for the past, it is for the future. Let the truth speak. Let the truth heal. Let the truth live. Did this message speak to your soul? Then, do 40 now. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're first time here. Because the silence is over. Hashtag justice for Biafra. Hashtag Nigeria deserve better. Hashtag truth not hate.